Hey, hi everyone. This is Sai from Let's Upgrade. So let's talk about how to get your certificate. It's very simple. You will see two links in the description. Number one is the place where you have to go and mark your attendance. Marking your attendance tells us, like, okay, you are a legit student who have attended this particular session. Link number two is your assignment. This is where your 90% of the priority is. You have to go and submit the assignment that is given to you in this particular session. Once you're done submitting that assignment, we will be evaluating that. We will send you an email. If you get the passing criteria, then only we will give you the certificate on a particular date that is mentioned again in the description. Please check these three things, and this is the way how you will get a certificate from Let's Upgrade. Number one, mark your attendance. Number two, just go ahead and upload your assignment. Check for the email that you have received it, yes or no. What is the feedback that you have received from your trainer? Number three, check on which date the certificates will be released. Thank you. Bye. All the best. Happy learning.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to learn one of the most popular effects which is used in modern websites, which is nothing but your reveal on scroll animation, right? Now, so what is exactly reveal on scroll animation? These are subtle but you know very beautiful animations, when elements fade, when elements fade in or slide in or pop in into the view as you scroll the page. You must have seen it, like when you scroll up to the page, the animation starts to come in, right? We'll be building something in of that sort. So in this session, we'll build from scratch. We'll use a bit of CSS animation. We'll use a bit of JS in here, and we'll add the incredibly powerful intersection observer API. So if you have not heard of it, this is the right video to learn about intersection observer API. So we'll make it section by section, and we'll see how does that often. So just a quick hands-on what it is nothing but so what is the basic idea behind it. So an element, initially that element is there in the website, but it is hidden, right? But as you scroll down to that element, now it enters the viewport, right? So and once it enters the viewport, the element animates. It is as simple as that, right? But the main issue here is to how do we develop this, right? So you must have seen it everywhere, right? When the hero text fades in, or when cards they slide from the bottom, right? When the element starts to appear, when you scroll down, the element starts to appear all of a sudden, but initially it is not there, right? So something of that sort. So basically what exactly it is nothing but it listens to your scroll events. So we have a mouse, right? So this is your mouse. So if you scroll to your mouse, it will listen to an event. So that's exactly when we want it to listen, right? So it also checks for window scroll. It does the heavy calculation on its own, and it is, you know it is kind of, very super light to use it, right? So that's how we will use it. And it is very it is kind of very I would say supportive to all the browsers as well. So that is what we will try to implement. So let us get started, and let us see where do we get, and let us see how it looks out. So what I will do, first of all, I'm currently in my VS Code. I will make a new file just like how we usually do it. So what I'm going to do is, I'll come here, I'll add a new file. I can say something like reveal, because it is, or I can say scroll.html and style.css. um or what we can do, we can use, let's use internal style only, right? Let's not use um uh, I mean external CSS. It is your personal choice. I want to use internal because I don't think so there would be too much of a use of CSS to separately add a file. I think if not inline, I'll use internal stylings as well, so that should also do good. So I will make the boilerplate. This is the title. Maybe we can just change the title and add here something like reveal once you scroll, or reveal on scroll, reveal on scroll animation. It's something of that sort. Or if not, you can just have reveal on scroll demo. Naming is up to you, whatever you want to. Basically you are free to add. And here I'll add the style tags. So whatever stylings we will be adding, we will be putting it up in here. So let us, one by one start get a hang of it. So first of all the animations I want it to be in a particular div, so that I can give that whole div a class name and use some animations or use some background colors to it. So what I'm going to do is I can make a div, I can have a container, I can have a class, maybe I can call it container. Why container? Because this is what will, this is the parent div of all my tags, and it will be a kind of a container which will contain all the elements and all the tags. I can just put, h2, I can just put in this name, which is reveal on scroll demo, right? So this much it is done. I mean, I can just also open the live server to actually see the effect, although we have hardly written anything, but just to open live server and just see how it looks. And this is how it looks right now. Yeah, this is how it looks right now. Okay. Yes, cool. So reveal on scroll demo, this is the parent container, and it is sorted. Now what else do we have now? So after this, now comes my cards, right? So as I told you, we'll have multiple blocks, I can call it cards, and each and every card, once you scroll up to the page, they will be appearing, something of that sort. So what I can do here is, inside this, create one more div. I'm thinking of giving it a very good name, so that I can maybe call it card. And I'm thinking of adding one more class, so that in which we can add the animations, reveal animations, and we can target the products. So this is how it will be. We can just add a text, or maybe we can add two things. One is the header, and then comes your paragraph. So maybe I'll add section 1, and the paragraph, maybe I'll write lorem 10. Yeah, something of this sort. So this is one card. Similarly, I can have multiple cards. I mean, how many? 1, 2, 3, how many you like. I'm just gonna go ahead for now, 5 of them, totally up to you. So I'm trying to add 5, so I'll just copy it, 3, 4, and 5. And most importantly, I'll have to change this section to 2. Now comes 3, then comes 4, then comes 5. So how many are they? 1, 2. Okay, I think 5 should be enough, right? If you want, you can add more, but 5 should be enough, right? So if I show you how it looks like, this is how it looks like, right? These are the sections. These sections I want to make it appear once I scroll the page, right? Once I scroll up to the page, you'll get a hang of it. So this is how it looks like. So now let's come to the most interesting part, which is the styling part. So what I will do right now here is, this is the style part. I'll try to style it. So first of all, I'm thinking to make all the margins and all the, I would say, paddings as 0, so that I can give my own to it. So I'll come to my body and I'll say that I want all the margin as 0 pixels, all the padding as 0 pixels. So I have the margin as 0, I have the padding as 0. If you want to have any font family, be more than happy, more than free to give it. So I usually prefer adding Arial and sans serif, because that's what I like. I don't want to add this one, so Arial and sans serif should just do fine. So that means it will be there in all the body. See this text I was talking about, and as you can see, all the margins and padding have been gone, so they have shrunk to the left side. Okay, now after this, maybe if you want to add background to it, you can. I'm thinking of something beige, because I love beige color. This is what it looks like. If you want to make anything else, feel free to go and add it. And maybe, so this height, oh yeah, maybe you can just also play with the line height. So I'll say line height around 1.5 pixels should do. Oh, that is too much close to each other. Instead of what, I'll give absolute value. So maybe I'll just do 1.5. Yeah, this looks much better. Okay, so now we are done. Now let's come to the main div. Okay, and what was this? It was container. So I'll come up here, I'll write dot container, and I will give the stylings to the container now. So first of all comes the width, right? So usually if you want to cover the almost the all of the page, I have a short trick. I have experimented the dimension. So if you give 800 pixels, it just does fine to me. If you want to add more, you can do it. So but what I usually do, I do max width as 800 pixels. Remember, this is the max width, right? This is not the exact width, so it is the max. Beyond this, it will not be. So you understand, right, what max width is. So beyond this, if you go beyond that, it will not work properly. So once we have given the width, maybe I can give margin as auto, or okay, or let me give margin as 0 and auto. So from the I mean, say the left and the right, it will be automatically adjusted. And yeah, looks good. Apart from that, maybe I can give some padding. Maybe I'm thinking of giving maybe let's give 40. Yeah, and I think that should be it. I mean, you can try give 20 as well from this side, or it hardly makes any difference. Anyways, yeah, this I just want to make it appear as middle to the possible, but want to leave some space here because I've given mix width as 800 pixels. I'm leaving some margins from the left, from the right side and the left side. That is why I've done max width as 800. Okay, yeah. So once this is done, I can maybe come up. I can maybe, I'm thinking to, um, because this is very kind of looking similar to section 1. So instead of h2, if we give h1 here, right, because I want to distinguish, because this is the kind of the main heading, I want to have different sections inside these main headings itself. Okay, so here we have it. Also, I am thinking of aligning it at center. So the h1, I can give text align center, right? So, and if you want to add some margins from the bottom, maybe we can add. So I can give margin bottom as 40 pixels and see how it looks like. 40 looks fine, should not be an issue. Okay, so now comes my cards, right? So we have two of them right now, which one is card and the one is reveal. So let me target reveal first, and then let us target card section. So I'll do dot reveal. Okay, I think it is capital. Yeah, so just want to check where all it is applying. So for this I can just add a border, 2 pixels solid red, just to check. Yeah, it is good to go. So that means we're targeting the correct area. Okay, in this, obviously, what we could think of multiple ways, right? So adding CSS is your own personal choice. You can add it as per your I would say. I just want to make some because it will be kind of a revealing thing, so I just want to maybe add some transform and transition so that it appears in a smoothing way, right? So I can give transform, and in this transform I can give add it as translate. Why I'm saying this, because I want the transition to happen in the y direction, obviously, because we are moving upwards. And I can give 40 pixels, right? Since we are adding transform, it makes sense to add transition as well, just to add in a linear, or maybe we can use ease and ease out, whatever you would like to. So I'll say timings, I'm thinking of making it appear at 8 seconds, and I'll say ease out. This will not make much sense. It will make sense once we make it active, and once we make the card page, and once we scroll to the pages. Maybe I can get rid of this as well. I don't think so we need it. Let's make it, let's try to target once it will be active. So I'll do reveal, right? So once it will be activated, I'm going to add certain styles there as well. So first of all, I'll look at the opacity. So opacity I'd want as 1. Apart from this, you could also think of because once it would be active, we have to again, you have to undo this translate. So what is the best way to do it? I'll just copy it and do it simply as 0 pixels. So the opacity is 1 and this is 0 pixels. So this is how it looks like. And yeah, so once we write the JS functionality, obviously it will make much more sense. But yeah, this is just the designing part. Okay, And now comes card, which is this card we are talking about. Now let's add some, you know, box shadows and some border radius just to make it look cleaner. I can, because all this is beige in color, just to distinguish each card, I can add a background white if I want to. So I can say background as simple white. If I do this, it looks something like this. This shows me that I also need to add a look more fluffier and to the inside of it. So I can add padding as 20 pixels. Also, we could also play around with some, you know, margins and all of those stuff. So if you want to make, because I want to scroll animation, and the scroll animation will come in effect if the cards are, you know, are kind of a downwards. That means they should not fit in one page. So for this I can add a margin bottom as well. So maybe if I add 20 pixels, yeah, see, now I have to scroll, right? Apart from this, what else we could do to make it look cleaner? Maybe we could add a border radius, right? So if I add a border radius, not much, but I would say 8 pixels. Yeah, see. So as you can see, this has a slight roundish, this is slight roundish in nature. And that reminds me, if you're adding border radius, I could also add a box shadow to it. So I can come up here and add a box shadow, and I could say, I could get the directions right. I could say 0 because I don't want it from that part. I could say 4 pixels, and I could say 6 pixels. Totally up to you. And oh no, maybe I'll give some 12 pixels here, and maybe I can give some colors to it. RGBA. I need to specify the colors. So wait, see, the colors part is also totally optional. If you want to, you can, but if you don't want to, maybe I can just keep, or I can just keep the colors as 0. I can just play with the opacity. I can say 0 0. I can just say 0.8. So this is, you know, how it is too much. Maybe I can say 0.08. Yeah, see, now it has a smoother, very, I would say a smooth effect. Up, okay. Where is section 3? Wait, we have got 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'll just add section 3 as well. Yeah, so this is how it looks right now. Obviously, feel free to customize the animations as per your need, as per your want, but this is how it looks for now. Okay, now comes the most important part, which is adding the script part. Okay, so I hope we all know where do we add scripts, right? We add script to the body. So once I get rid of this, I can add a script. Now, most importantly, we'll target what to add. Okay, so first of all, let us see one by one. So first is this reveal, right? And you know, this reveal, um, it first of all, I need to catch it in a variable name, because all the classes have, like, all the cards have access to this class reveal. So that means I'll able to one by one show up these cards once I scroll up or scroll down, as simple as that. And I would try preferring a keyword, you know, that cannot be reassigned. And if you know what that is, well and good. If not, we'll be doing it, right? Okay, so as far as the keyword is assigned, I'll be using const, because I don't want any reassignment here. Now, const, then I can give it a variable name. I like to keep it as simple and as convincing as possible. So I can say reveals equals to, and I want all the access to the cards which have this reveal class. So I can use class name, query selector, all of those stuffs. I will prefer adding class name, or maybe let's use query selector, and it was dot reveal, which is this name, right? So yeah, obviously it has to be in these quotes. So document dot query selector all reveal. Now, since I have the name of the variable, right, this reveals, and it holds all the elements with the class dot reveal. So What will it do? It will look for the entire HTML collection, will look for all the divs, all the tags which have a class reveal, and will store this inside this variable. I hope it makes sense. Now, I hope we also know what does this return. So this will return us a node list. Remember, if we use a class here, we get items in the form of a node list, right? For example, if I were to imagine how I will be able to get reveals, it will be something in this format. So I'll say, so there are 5 elements, right? I'll get it in this format. So I'll get element 1. Similarly, I will get element 2. I will get element 3, element 4, and element 5. Because there are 5 elements, this is the exact access, exact how I will have the kind of have the access to these, right? I hope this should make sense, because this returns a node list, right? So I'll just add it here as well. I'll say returns a node list, right? I hope this made sense. Now, next, so once we have the access of the node list, now comes the observer API, right? So I'll now again make a const variable just to avoid any reassignment. And I could, again, the name is totally up to you, but I prefer to give a name which is very easy to read, and I'll give it observe, because this will observe each and every reveal elements, right? If they are scrolling up or scrolling down and things of that sort. Here I will use the intersection observer. So it takes in a new keyword, and I'll write intersection observer. So this creates a brand new intersection observer object, and this object watches elements to see when they appear in the viewport. Because initially, this, if you see section 5, this is not in the viewport. Presently this is not in the viewport. If I scroll, then only it will come into the viewport, this section 5. So this, the use of this intersection observer API is to track all the elements, all the tags, and just check if they currently lie in the viewport and if they are appearing into the viewport. You can think of it, as maybe a security guard. Just security guard tells you when there are people coming in or come or going out. So just think of it that way. It's just a kind of, you're assigning it a security guard. So when the elements come in, it will just tell me whenever the elements, they pop up and they come in, right? And this is supposed to take a callback. So I'll, maybe I can use entries here, because I'll target each and every entry, and I'll do it something like this. Now, the entries, most importantly here, is a callback function, right? It will run every time. It will run every time, if the watch element, which is these elements, if they appear or disappear. Because see, it has disappeared now. It is not there. It has appeared. This section 5, and it has again disappeared. It has again appeared. So yeah, this entries one, it will run every time if the elements become visible or they become invisible, right? As simple as that. This is just a callback function. And so this is just a callback function, this part which we will be writing. Whereas if as far as the entries is concerned, it is nothing but a list of all the visible changes elements, which is nothing but um, these cards. Okay, so once this is done, we have this entry which will loop into each and every cards that we have, and it will loop basically, it will loop through every visibility change entry, and it represents one element which is being observed, right? So which we will code for now. So let us do it. Let us try to code along, because the explanation itself will not do justice. Once I write the code, it will kind of start to make much more sense. So as I told you, for each entry, so I'll use entries. I can use each, yeah, for each, right? And for each and every entry, right, for each and every entry, I will try to get hold of the intersection array, just to check if it is visible or not. So basically it will just be a boolean value which will just return me a true or a false value. So I will do if entries dot, now here is the main part, if entries dot is intersection, so is intersection, sorry, not entries, it would be entry, so entry dot is intersecting, that means it will just be a boolean value. If it does, if it intersects, I'm going to add a class list active. So remember I made a class list active here. So once it is active, I want these CSS properties to be appeared to kind of appear in my list. So I hope you all know how to add it. So I can just say entry, which is the current entry name, dot target, which will target the exact same specific. And to add a class list, we use class list dot add, and now I'll give the name of the class, which is nothing but active, right? So what does this line do? Let me kind of focus more on this. So this entry that you see here, right, this entry that you see here, it represents only one element which is currently being observed, right? So I'm doing it in a loop, so that means for each and every entry that will happen, it will check if the actual HTML element, it is true or false. That means this is a boolean value. It will either return me a true or a false, as simple as that, nothing much. So for each and every entry, I'm looping, that is from this one, if it is true or not, right? True means visible, not means invisible, as simple as that. Now, right, so this is kind of a condition check, a boolean value. So I'll just write it as well, boolean value, right? So true means it is visible, that means it is, kind of the element has entered into the viewport, has entered into the element has entered into the viewport. And if it is false, that means it has still not appeared, and uh, we have to wait for it to appear, or we have to wait for the user to scroll on to that element, as simple as that. Okay, and this is nothing but if true, add a class which is nothing but active class, which is where is that, where did it go, yeah, this one, which is this, which will just turn the opacity as 1 and transform scale to 0. So maybe I can just write it here as well. So what does this do, which was actually this, oops, yeah. So it does the opacity as 1 and it transform into a y direction by 0 pixels. So this is a moment, this is the exact moment once it will be added to the viewport and the animation will occur, which is this animation, right? Okay, so now we have done the entry part. Now it is time to just tell the observer that once you move it away, you have to stop the intersection API, right? Why? Because we only want the animation to run once, right? We don't want that. If you, let's suppose, once means once in the lifetime, right? Like I don't want it to happen. Let's suppose you come up to the website, you scroll, the animation appears, but you scroll back, again it appears, then you scroll down, again it appears, then it will be kind of a hectic, it will not look good. So every time we build these such applications, we try to kind of maximize it only one time. That is it. So we also have to make sure that we have to, after observing, we have to unobserve, so it is a part of it as well, so which helps us unobserve the API. So for this, what we can do is, once this is done, once the state is active, I can say observer dot unobserve. That means it will not observe. Now it has stopped its observation, and I'll pass in the reference, which is nothing but entry dot target. So once it is active, once it has come to the viewport, then it will stop observing the API, right? As simple as that. Now we can move out And now we can just add a loop to all the APIs to kind of appear all together. So I can just say reveals, and I'll take in the element, and I can just say observer. Do we say okay? Because I want, okay, so observer, so that means it will observe for each and every iteration for this element, right? Because it makes sense, right? Because this observer is only for one object, so it will make 5 different objects all together. So, and accordingly it will transform all this into each and every single card, which is each and every 5 cards that we have it. As simple as that, right? So this is what it is. I hope this makes sense. And yeah, so yeah, so I mean, again, iterating this observer dot observe, what is the use of it? It tells the intersection. I mean, so this for each, basically it is, it will loop through every element with the reveal class, which is this dot reveal class that we have already targeted. And it represents, so this one, it represents each and every single element. So for each and every single element, it will write the observe property. It will kind of add in the observe property to each and every element that we have, right? So each dot, when each dot reveal element is being tracked, and once it is being tracked, it will animate once it enters the viewport. As simple as that, right? So let us now target, let us see how it works, and if not, if there are some issues, we'll try to rectify those. Okay, so as you can see, yeah, see, as you can see, if I keep on scrolling down, the sections will keep on coming up. See, as you can see how it pops up. See how it pops up and how it pops up. Now once I do so, since I told you it will be only appearing once. Now see, if I do it further, there is no animation, there is no reveal. But if I again see refresh, see section 3, when I pop section 3, how will it kind of reveal? See, it reveals. Section 4 also reveals, and section 5 also pops up and reveal. Now this is happening because I did translate y, right? So it moves 40 pixels up suddenly, and again I add it. See, this is how it looks like. So this is what it is. You must have already seen it in many websites, right? This has a very soothing effect to it, and most importantly, it only appears one. Why it is only appearing one? Because we are trying to unobserve each and every target that we are adding, once we are making it true or once it is entering the viewport. Because see, at here, section 3 has still not entered the viewport. That means for section 3, this is currently false, right? And if this is false, that means there is no class list active which has been added to this particular card. But if I come up here, it enters the viewport, it makes the card visible, and once it does that, it directly, for this entry, that is for section 3, I'm solely talking about section 3 here, that is now section 3, now it gets unobserved. Now it will not be observed anymore, right? As simple as that. Now next comes section 4. This is section 4. So if I solely talk about section 4, so it now section 4 becomes true, and in the class list I have added active. That means animation properties will kick in, and once it kicks in, I will make it I will basically remove the addition part. As simple as that. And once this has been done for each and every item, I'll just loop and observe all the elements all together. As simple as that, right? So I hope this makes sense. So in short, what have we done? We find all the elements that should reveal, right? We create an observer to watch the visibility. When the elements becomes visible, we add the active class, right, to stop watching. So then we have to add, we kind of have to make the, so we add this because we have to stop the animation, because it only appears one in the entire life cycle. And that's it what we have done. So very simple analogy, right? Okay. Okay, so now let us kind of summarize what we have done. so that you have a quick notes of what exactly is there and what are we learning. So first of all, we learned what a reveal on scroll animation is, what a reveal on scroll animation is, right? After that, we saw why the intersection observer API is the uh, why the intersection API is able to create scroll animation for us, and why it is best, why the intersection observer API, or how API is used to create the create the animation effect. After that, we could think of like how we how we kind of used the unobserved method to hide the design, right, and make it appear only once. How to use the un to make sure animation only appears one during the entire life cycle, right? So how it is help it helped us to unobserve the entire life cycle. And uh, also yeah, what else did we use? I think we also used yeah, yeah, okay. And how to figure out a boolean value, I think this is already done. And then we targeted all the elements. So this should kind of pretty much be it. And uh, how to loop through all the cards to observe the, okay. So it is as simple as that. Now I hope we got it. So this kind of brings us to the end of the session. We now have a clean and where is it, yeah. So we now have a clean and a professional reveal on scroll animation that you can use in your website immediately. As simple as that, right? So this is what it is. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching.